You've seen it. That one person at karaoke, absolutely belting out a song, completely off-key, but with the passion and confidence of a rock god. The crowd is wincing, but they're living their best life, convinced they're a star. Or how about that relative at Thanksgiving who, after reading one article online, explains with unshakable certainty why economists, climate scientists, and doctors are all wrong. They have zero expertise, but 100% conviction. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a predictable, measurable, and deeply human glitch in our thinking. It has a name, the Dunning-Kruger effect. And it scientifically explains why, so often, the most ignorant among us are the most courageous. Back in 1999, two social psychologists at Cornell University, David Dunning and Justin Kruger, were fascinated by a bizarre news story about a bank robber who covered his face in lemon juice, believing it would make him invisible to security cameras. The robber's confidence was so profound, yet so profoundly wrong, that it sparked the question, is it possible that incompetent people are not only incompetent, but they are also too incompetent to even recognize their own incompetence? So they designed a simple experiment. They gave students tests on things like grammar, logic, and humor. Then, they asked each student to do two things: first, complete the test. Second, guess how well they did, to rank their own performance compared to everyone else. The results were stunning, and they gave us this famous graph. Let's break it down. On the bottom, you have someone's actual skill level, from low to high. On the side, you have their perceived skill, their self-assessed confidence. Now, look at the people who performed the worst, down here in the bottom percentile. They completely bombed the test. But when asked how they thought they did, they believed they were well above average. This peak of unearned confidence has a nickname: Mount Stupid. It's the place where you don't know enough to even know what you don't know. Your tiny island of knowledge feels like the entire world. But then something interesting happens. As people start to learn a little more, their confidence plummets. They begin to realize the sheer vastness of the subject. They've left Mount Stupid and fallen into the Valley of Despair. This is the point where you think, the more I learn, the less I know. It's an uncomfortable, anxious place to be. But it's also the beginning of true wisdom. Finally, if a person keeps learning and practicing, their confidence begins to slowly and realistically climb again. This is the slope of enlightenment. They gain genuine expertise, and their self-assessment starts to align with their actual ability. So, why does this happen? Dunning and Kruger called it the double curse. The incompetent are cursed once by their lack of skill, and cursed a second time by being mentally unequipped to recognize their own deficiency. The very knowledge that's missing is the same knowledge they need to spot their own mistakes. Think of it like this: to know if you're a good singer, you need to have a good ear for pitch and rhythm. If you don't have a good ear, you won't be able to sing well, and you won't be able to judge that you can't sing well. But what about the people on the other end? The true experts. The study found they consistently underestimated their own ability. Why? Because they were so good at the task, they assumed it must be easy for everyone else too. This often manifests as imposter syndrome, that nagging feeling that you're a fraud and will be exposed at any moment, even when you have overwhelming evidence of your own competence. You feel like a kid playing dress-up in an adult's world. So how do we escape this trap? How do we avoid becoming the loudmouth on Mount Stupid and manage the anxiety of the Valley of Despair? The first step is humility. The simple act of thinking, maybe I'm wrong, is a powerful antidote. The second is to actively seek out constructive feedback. Don't ask, how good was I? Ask, how can I get better? This reframes the goal from validating your ego to pursuing actual growth. And finally, keep learning. The moment you think you've mastered something, you've stepped onto the foothills of Mount Stupid. True experts are lifelong learners. They are more fascinated by what they don't know than what they do. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a humbling reminder that confidence is a terrible gauge of ability. The wisest people in history, from Socrates to Shakespeare, have all echoed the same sentiment: true wisdom begins with admitting you know nothing. It's only from there that we can truly begin to learn.